And we are live. I can edit this bit out now.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
You sure we're recording? We're good?
We are recording. We are good.
Cool.
Let's just... Hey, welcome to the Tavern Talks podcast, where three dudes get together and we talk about games, movies, tech, anime, manga. I know it's like the same thing. But hey, we are the Tavern Talks, and I am Sam.
Hey,
Hello, Sam.
Hello.
My name's Martin.
Do you have
Oh, none of us doing our handles. Fair enough. I am Nick.
Okay.
We're taking all your bit. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Taking my shtick. There's no reason for me to be here.
Oh no, don't leave, please. So, normally, we have to confess, listeners, we would have big news the last week at this point. There isn't any. So-
Yeah, nothing really big happened.
Yeah, nothing revolutionary.
Nothing. It was weird. I suppose the big news is we don't have any big news.
Mm.
So,
So, any updates on Elon and Twitter? I feel like he's been our kind of go-to.
He's still throwing a fit, and he's still threatening to pull out of the deal, but that's as much as I know, personally.
Well,
Fair enough. We'll know more when we know more, I guess.
yeah.
It's one of them, and it's mad. So, in a word turn today on this altered journey, we are staring into what have you been playing / watching, haven't you? Now, you're gonna hate me for this, fellas, or you may judge me slightly. The listeners might judge me for this one. I sat last night and watched the Star Wars prequels.
Nice.
Why?
You've already seen him before.
Because I had a conversation with a friend, shout out Ryan, if you listen to this, which I don't think you do. But
We all know Orion.
we do. So to all Ryans out there, shout out, I guess. We was talking, I was like, what have you been doing lately? Like, I've not heard from you at all. And he was like, oh, I've been watching the entire Star Wars timeline. I was like, what? And we just started, like, talking about watching these movies growing up and, like, sort of that fascination we had when we first ever saw them as kids.
Mm.
And I just came home, just like, I wasn't tired enough to go to bed. I was too lazy to plug in a games console to actually play anything. And I just was scrolling through Disney Plus and I just thought, you know what? Let's watch The Phantom Menace. Watch The Phantom Menace, and of course, you know how it goes when you start watching stuff, and then it just steamrolled into Attack of the Clones, and then I thought at this point, well, I might as well just watch Revenge of the Sith. So I watched Revenge of the Sith, and by the time I was done, I realised it was about 6 plus nearly 7 hours of my life I'm not going to get back. But I enjoyed it and would do it again in like 10 years' time. Oh, I also watched the first 3 episodes of The Boys. The new season of The Boys.
The new season. Okay.
Yes.
Nice.
Which I believe we will talk
cover.
about later.
We will. So I will
Yeah.
save that. I will save that segment for that bit later on. Anyway, Martin.
Yeah, I really haven't done much this week. I played a couple of new games that nothing worth really bringing up. I played it for like 20 minutes and I was like, oh, this is bad. I've turned them off. The max I've done is just finish off the Resident Evil 6 campaigns again, which I always really like. Got infinite ammo unlocked, so I'll be able to go through and actually go through all the rest of them again. I go through the new characters and unlock their weapons as well. Not the new characters, but the characters I didn't play as.
Yeah.
The campaigns. But yeah, other than that, I have not done really anything. It's been working, pretty much.
Like a broken record.
Yeah, pretty much.
Ouch. That's cold.
Well, I'm
Well,
just
it's
saying
true,
he never plays anything every week.
That's true.
He's
It's
busy.
true. It's true.
It's when I get roped in by someone to go like, oh, you want to play this game? I'm like, sure, we'll play this game, and I jump on and play with them. Other than that, I'm just working. I have plenty of time when I get to passive income.
Well,
Until then, and I can buy all the new games.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, I'd upgrade your computer first.
Yeah,
Solid advice.
pretty decent. It's decent right now, but it will be decent.
It's
You know,
like melting down though.
Oh, we don't talk about it. No, it's okay, PC. They didn't hear that. They didn't mean it. It's doing its best.
It's just held together with duct tape and ice cubes.
Yeah, well, it's like 6 years old now, so it's
in a dream.
Yeah, 6 year old, the exact same parts as I got 6 years ago, except for a new hard drive that I changed a bit ago because the hard drive was the cheapest part I bought, purposefully. But yeah, there's some parts where I'm like, oh, this program takes a little bit longer to load, or I'm trying to save or tab out and it goes not responding for a quick second, a bit longer than it should do.
Have you had to fit a smoke alarm under your desk?
Yeah, it's fine. We got really, really sensitive smoke alarm, so we'll be fine. But yeah, no, that's pretty much it.
Oh, gosh.
Fair enough. I've been playing a bunch of shit, so it's time for me to talk for a while. So, first thing I suppose I'll mention is Minecraft, which I've been doing people do like various challenges with Minecraft, like you start on a spit of land and the rest of the world hasn't loaded in, and somehow you need to like build a whole fucking thing and whatnot, or you start on a single block, or you start in your spawn chunk, all this shit. Well, I decided to do a spawn chunk challenge where, like, chunks are basically a grid that the world is made up of, and it's like boxes of 16 by 16 blocks. So from like the very top of the world to the very bottom of the world, it's these 16 by 16 blocks. And I decided, because I've done the spawn chunk challenge a few times, that like one chunk isn't really big enough to be fun for me. So I ended up expanding that to 4 chunks. Started a multiplayer world with that. And me and a friend have just been slowly making our way. Unfortunately, we started on like a frozen lake. So a frozen lake is basically taking up more than half of our 4 chunks.
Ouch.
So we have very little resources. We started with 1 tree in the chunk. Well, it was like kind of half in the chunk. Thankfully, we expanded that, and now we've got absolute shitloads of trees. We ended up building a cave with the intention to build like a proper house, but instead we just like expanded out. We've got a nice greenhouse. I'll have to take some screenshots because it's quite nice, if I do say so myself. And at the moment, we're currently just like strip mining for diamond. So essentially with strip mining, you go right to the bottom just before bedrock, and then you dig like in every direction and create like one block wide tunnels. So it's just a series of 1 block wide tunnels leading all the way up towards our camp. So eventually we're just going to run out of resources completely. We're going to have mined them all up. And yeah, that has been pretty fun and entertaining. There's only 2 of us on the server at the minute, but you never know. And what else? Oh yeah, Dark Souls. I decided to start another run of Dark Souls Remastered. So about half a year ago at this point, maybe a little bit less, I started streaming Dark Souls Remastered and decided to do like an item randomizer run, enemy randomizer, and fog gate randomizer. So all of that was completely randomized, which randomized the bosses. It could randomize standard enemies into bosses and shit like that. And like all of the key items and generally all of the pickups in the world were completely randomized. So you could find like, minor spoilers for Dark Souls Remastered, you could find the Lord Vessel in a box at the start of the game, for example, which would allow you to just like place the Lord Vessel down and go into the second half of the game.
Couldn't you theoretically have a key needed for the gates and progression, like to just not be there, and you just can't even progress?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which doesn't sound fun. I haven't run into that issue yet, but that could be, or it could be like the key could be randomized to an item of which you don't know the location of, or you don't know how to get there. So that could also be pretty fun. But I've been enjoying it. I've just decided to do the item randomizer. I haven't bothered with the enemy and fog wall, because it also randomizes your the starting gear for each class. So like the deprived starts with normally they start with a plank shield and a club, no armor, no anything. But in this particular run, the deprived started with the Mask of the Father, which I believe gives you increased equip load. Started with the Grass Crest Shield, which increases your stamina regen. And I can't remember what the hell the weapon was. It was a good enough weapon that I was like, yeah, that is the one to go with. So I ended up going with the deprived, and I'm making slow progress on that. It's whenever I play Dark Souls, I usually go with right, these are my weapons, so I'm just going to upgrade these weapons. These weapons are good. Like the Black Knight Halberd is fucking insanely good. But I'm trying to branch out more and use weapons and builds that I wouldn't normally go for. And it's been alright, yeah. So, that is Dark Souls Remastered. Out now, in stores near you. I've also been playing Risk of Rain 2 with my brother. So, Risk of Rain is a roguelike, a level-based roguelike, where you have a handful of different classes you can play, and essentially you are getting randomized item pickups that will change some aspect of your character. So it might be that you deal increased damage to bosses, and you can get these pickups. I don't know if there's an infinite amount of times, but you can just keep getting these pickups and the effect will keep stacking. So you can create really interesting builds with that. Or it'll cause bleed on hit, or do more damage to enemies above 90% health. And as I said, as you stack these items, the effect will increase. So the 90% health one, it doesn't become 80% or 70% or whatnot. It'll always stay at 90%, but you will do insane damage. So you might end up dropping an enemy to fucking 30% health from 100%, just because of how many times you've stacked this one item. And towards the end of a run, there are I think there are 10 maps, and you play 6 of them, and it's randomized which 6, but the maps don't change. They're not procedurally generated. It's just what enemies are going to spawn on the map. The longer you take on a map, the harder it actually gets. So there's a slowly increasing difficulty counter up in the corner. It'll start going through the normal difficulties easy, medium, hard, very hard, and it gets to the point where it's just threatening you, essentially. It's you're going to die. And then the final difficulty eventually reaches a threshold where there's just one continuous difficulty that's the hardest, so enemies have increased health and damage output, and the difficulty is literally just ha 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 ha. Just continuous ha's.
That sounds like my
Wait, that's the name of the difficulty option.
Yeah.
That's great.
It's pretty good. It's got a good sense of humor.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of gameplay footage on Risk of Rain.
Yeah.
And it did look really fun. I always forget about it, and then I see pictures, I'm like, oh, this game! Oh, that's so fun! And then I forget about it again.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. It is,
Yeah.
even though it hasn't got as much random generation as a lot of roguelikes, it is one of the better ones that I've played.
Nice.
And it's like 4-player, I think, if you so desire. It scales pretty well with the amount of players as well. So yeah, I'd highly recommend that. They have like, essentially you get dropped into a level and you have to make money by killing enemies. You'll also find there are boxes scattered around the level that require money to open, which will drop you an item that when you pick it up, it becomes a random item. And there's your typical like different qualities, like Y is kind of the standard level of items, green is the next tier up, and it goes like that. What else is there to say about it? At the end of every level, you have to find a teleporter. And when you activate that teleporter, it will convert all of the money you've made but haven't spent into XP, and it'll summon a big boss. Sometimes it'll summon 2 bosses, or like me and Nathan got, we ended up getting 6 bosses at once.
Wait, what?
Because we've been activating these shrines that like double the amount of bosses, but we hadn't been paying attention to how many we'd been activating. And that got a bit crazy, but we did fine. We actually beat it quite easily. I highly recommend Risk of Rain. It's a very fun game, and the soundtrack, oh god, it's so good. It's like the kind of synthwave, which is a bit overplayed now, I realise, with like fucking Stranger Things and whatnot, but it's like a very synthy soundtrack, and it's incredible. I don't often listen to soundtracks outside of games, but that is one I could happily listen to. I haven't, but I could. And finally, Vampire Survivors. That is a game that's kind of been blowing up like hell recently. I think it released toward the end of last year into early access on Steam, and ever since then it has just been exploding. Loads of streamers have been playing it and everything, and it was just like this little £2 game that looks like the assets on it look like straight out of Castlevania. In fact, they probably are. They're just like slightly color changed. And how do you describe fucking Vampire Survivors? It's kind of a bullet hell with minimal bullets, I guess you'd say. So there are a bunch of weapons, and each weapon acts differently. So the first character that you start with, he gets a whip, and the first level of the whip always whips out to the upper right quadrant of where he's facing. So essentially in front of him. And the weapons act on their own timers. So you're not like intentionally pressing the attack button. Basically, every interval of seconds, your weapon will attack, depending on what level you've got the weapon up to. The only control really is movement. So you can play this game entirely with one analog stick. If any of you out there happen to be handicapped, only have one arm or something, you can easily play this game. And yeah, the various weapons have their own ways of acting, and upgrading them changes how they act in some capacity. So upgrading the whip will start to make it like attack in the other 3 quadrants. So the lower left, upper left, and lower right. Eventually the arc of the whip will start getting bigger, and so on. the garlic creates like a radius around you that damages enemies when they get into it. So that radius will start increasing and increasing in size. The axe is like it's thrown upwards and it arcs down and falls off of the screen. So these weapons each have their own like little ways of dealing with certain enemies. And it goes even deeper when you can also collect like passive equipment, I suppose you'd call it. So it'd be stuff like slowly regenerate health. Regenerate 0.1% health every second or something like that. And when you get that, plus a garlic that you've leveled up to max, you can then, I think it's called Ascension. You can ascend the garlic and it becomes this like super powerful version of the garlic, essentially.
Super garlic, fermented garlic.
Yeah. Basically. Pickled garlic.
Yes.
And yeah, it's such like a small, simple game, but it is incredibly effective and probably my game of the year so far. It is very good. And for £2, it's insane value. Apparently he said that he said that the price will slowly increase as it gets closer to like 1.0. For now, he's like adding all sorts of characters which start with their own upsides and downsides and different weapons and whatnot. And I highly, highly recommend everybody give it a try, especially for fucking £2.
You can't run for £2.
No.
I will definitely be giving it a try.
It has piqued my interest though.
Give it a look. It's also recently came out on Game Pass. I think just Game Pass for PC though. Unfortunately, I don't think we're seeing it on consoles yet. But yeah, that is Vampire Survivors. Highly recommended.
Nice.
It sounds pretty badass. I need to as soon as this is done, get it and play it.
Get and download it. It looks like it's a very small file as well.
Yeah,
just because of it being like graphics.
I could have installed it and uninstalled it like fucking 1,000 times in the span of us been talking now.
Yeah.
Oh,
very small. Right, let me get an actual number for you. You guys just fill the air.
I need to know this.
Yeah.
Because I like the concept. Size matters in some incidences.
Yeah, exactly.
But like,
that's the thing. I've talked to a lot of people who actually. I'm used to having like the terabyte hard drive. You know, having a couple. Like I've now got 2 of them. It's great, and even having 500 meg ones and stuff, they're always fine. There's just some people who get so many games put on. Like I don't have room. Like I don't have room. So that's a huge issue for people. And it used to be. What games was it now? I think it was actually in the first Xbox, like not first Xbox, but Xbox One when that came out. When you had to start installing the games, there were always the thing on the back of the cases being like, "This is old PC games as well." Like, is this many gigs or megs or whatever? Like, watch out for that. Make sure you can install it. And yeah,
they release like so many updates to games that they can't even promise how much it's going to be.
Oh my god! Fucking Modern Warfare was the worst.
There we go.
That started off at like 60 gig or something. I feel like from memory, and I ended uninstalling it when it 120. Like it just got to the point where it was silly. Even Gears 5 got silly.
Yeah,
that was over 110 gigabytes. It was just yeah. That's the win in. It's like everyone looks like, oh, it's just a small download each time. If you released a PR conference and you were like, oh, I'm releasing this game and it's going to be 120 gig, you know, big RPG, they'd be like, whoa, that's ridiculous. And like multiplayer games keep going up to that.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure Call of Duty Modern Warfare is bigger than WoW at this point. Like the download size.
Oh yeah,
retail WoW that is. It's insanity. But yeah, Vampire Survivors is 232 meg.
Ooh.
It is absolutely tiny. Yeah, 56 seconds to download it, apparently.
So
I had to
everybody,
install it to find out the size.
so everybody, go buy it.
It downloaded in 3 seconds.
Oh,
It lied about 50 seconds. I want my money back.
Oh.
Yeah, highly recommended, and I'm pretty sure it's still £2. Yeah, £2.09. So that'd be like what, $4 in correct money. Yeah, that's basically what I've been playing.
Nice.
I like that.
All right, next one then. Going to the player's choice talk.
Player's choice. So
So,
last week we rolled a die. The die landed on me, and I chose for us to play World of Warcraft Vanilla. I was a bit torn at the time. I wasn't sure if I wanted just to play City of Heroes, which is kind of old and a little bit janky, or if I wanted to play Guild Wars 2, which is more modern, but Martin had already played it. So I decided to go down the middle and go with WoW Vanilla. So, yeah. What the fuck is up with WoW Vanilla?
WoW Vanilla is the nicest experience I've had with WoW.
Okay.
This is a bold claim.
I mean, compared to retail, fucking
Yeah.
anything, this is more, like I'm having more fun with it.
So we ended up like convening on Discord, and kind of I let those two look through the two factions and the races and classes that were on offer, and we ended up deciding on Night Elf. Sam decided he wanted to be a Night Elf Druid. He wants to be the tank of the group, so when we do finally get into a dungeon, he's going to be at the forefront. He's going to be taking all the shit. Martin decided he wanted to be the healer, so he went with a priest.
Team medic.
And I was just like, I'm DPS, so I've gone with a warrior. And we're all night elves because it's the easiest way to fucking do things. So yeah, I want to know about your experience with the starting zone and with your classes in general, I guess.
Yeah, okay. I'll go first then.
Yeah.
Because this is my first time, like, I think I played WoW for maybe 20 minutes at one point. Ages ago, and I don't even know what happened. It was just at one point me and mate talked about it and we tried it, and it was We're jumping on this time. For a game, like, this is vanilla World of Warcraft, this is like other release of it.
Yeah.
Like when it first came out, so it's a 2004 game.
Yep.
You know, it's what we're talking 18 like years old that you're playing this game, and it still stands the test of time of an absolutely great MMO.
Yep.
I have played far less MMOs that came out a year or two ago, and it's really interesting to look at it and see, because this is one of the first MMOs, really. One of the first, we'll call it, is a big MMO that had so many features and things that they put in there that every MMO still does to this day. Like, they created the formula for it.
Yeah.
And people stick with it, and they keep doing the same thing. So it's been great to go in and go, this has it, and it works better than these other people trying to implement it.
Yeah.
It's just a feature. They're trying to make it a bit different, and it didn't work. So no, it's been great to go through, and it's very, very easily accessible to jump in and just start, and you don't really have to worry about it.
And it helps that the graphics aren't exactly. They've got a really good art style where they haven't been going for realism. They've been going for like the kind of cartoony aesthetic, but that also, which might turn some people off, but it means that like it will run on any fucking computer. It's so like accessible to people, and there's so many graphical options to piss around with that you can get it just to your preference. Really good.
You could get a laptop for like 20 quid down at some PC repair shop probably, and it would run it.
Yeah.
I really don't see it being an issue with it, but how it runs. Yeah, but we started as the Night Elves. I liked the area, just the huge kind of foresty kind of area.
Yeah.
Because of the style, obviously, as well. Like, you can swim. Barely MMOs have swimming. Some of them. So it's really weird. So, yeah, it has everything you need. It starts a good area. The quest system, very quick to go through. It's a very standard old school MMO though. So it's just like, fetch quests. Go get this thing, go kill this many enemies to drop a thing, you go take it back.
It's a lot of like collect X amount of thing or kill X amount of thing.
Yeah. But so far I found it not to be, they're well balanced to the quests. I've played a lot of other MMOs where you do a few quests and you then have to you've no other content left. You run out of quests to do. Or I've had it where you're just stuck in the same area. If you want to, for a lot of people who are completionists, they want to just go and get every single quest in the area that they come across. You're stuck with repeatable quests and this quest and this quest. And they're all just really dull. This one felt a good progression of like, you went through, you got them, you went over and cleared this cave, and you had to go into the cave to clear it. Then you came out, and now let's go to the next area. Now you're in the next area, you move down this other part and clear this section. And it's helping you guide you through the map by just accepting the quests in general.
Yeah.
So it's a good formula to actually keep you progressing through the game while experiencing all the content.
How have you found the questing without an add-on? Because basically in WoW Vanilla they gave you directions and that was it. Like, obviously to some degree I've kind of been steering the car. I've been leading us towards the quest locations. But do you feel like they have, I guess, given sufficient information on how to get this shit done, where to go?
Yeah, that is the most fucked aspect of the game. Everything else is great, and it's the only bad aspect of the game I found.
Yeah.
Is the fucking quest system is terrible. I can only track 4 at one time on the side, and I would rather, even when you hold shift and you click on it and it comes saying, you need to click this many items. And it's like, okay, and we can only track 4 at one time, and even then, or 5, whichever one it is. And then there's other quests where it's like, go talk to this person. I have to always open my question on, like, talk to a person. If it's not for the icon above their head when I randomly find them, I'm never going to know who they are and where they are. And I look at the map, I don't know where anyone is. I don't know where this person is, where that thing is, where this other thing is. So you're absolutely trapped. And it's not a good sort of like thing where I can think of like Morrowind. Now, Morrowind obviously had no quest markers at all. You had a quest journal and they give you directions, And that was the only way to get around properly, besides running around and exploring. But that worked because at least you had directions. It would tell you, go to the fork in the road and go left. When you go across the second bridge, turn right. Things like that. This is nothing. The max I've had of any direction was go south out of this gate. And if I logged off and came back or did something else, I would have no clue where I got this quest from. It's like, go south of the gate. Which gate? Because, if I didn't look at it in that moment, I'd forget.
So you'd end up having to like abandon it and hopefully run into the quest giver again.
It's really bad. It is
Thankfully,
really bad.
The add-on that I told you to install, Questy, it fixes basically all of your issues. It shows quests on the map where you can pick them up, where you can hand them in. It shows locations where you have to kill or collect things. It shows people you need to talk to for quests. It lets you track, I think, all of your quests, all 20 quests. It lets you track if you really want to. It's going to be a bit of an eyesore on the side of your screen, but you can do it. It basically fixes all of the things that you just listed.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, to a certain degree, it's a shame because it's nice to be given vague directions and have to explore and experience the world. But for the sake of your own fucking sanity, it's nice to be able to just be like, all right, okay, this guy's here. Let's just go there.
Yeah.
So I think your experience in that degree is going to be improved by this add-on that I told you to whenever we get around to playing it next.
Yeah, I'll definitely get that installed. Get the point in the folder and things.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, the quest system's it runs well. It's just very hard to find the quest. If you weren't leading me to things, I won't have any clue where to go. I would have to just run around mindlessly. And thankfully, it's a very closed off section because it's an old MMO, so it's not just huge open world with nothingness everywhere. There's a reason to go somewhere, and if there's no reason, it's generally blocked off.
Yeah.
If there's not going to be a quest in that area, so it's you're good enough to know. Okay, you'll eventually find where you got to be, but it's just a hassle in the meantime.
What is cool is the places where you don't necessarily have to go, there are actually like rare enemies that will spawn there that will drop like quite good loot. There's basically always something to do in every section of every map, I guess you'd call it. So how about you, Sam? What was your experience?
My experience with for us playing as a group in World of Warcraft Vanilla, the starting area, I've nothing bad to say about the starting area. It's a nice comprehensive area where you can find your bearings and find your feet and learn how the game works, controls, you get to grips with quests, combat. It's really well put together, and it has the game as a whole, for how old it is as well, considering the version we are playing is withstanding the test of time.
Yeah.
I enjoyed, like, just how well put together the whole experience is. Like, putting, like, as you pick a quest to do, like, it gives you enough information on how to get there and what needs to be done. The only problem I had sometimes is I'm the kind of person that relies usually a little bit more on visual aid when tracking a quest. But
yeah, like the waypoints or a fat arrow that tells you. Yeah.
Yes, and I found myself sometimes getting a little bit confused with the compass and the world map and the arrows like coming off it, which were to represent different like members of our party.
Yeah, I do find it weird that the minimap only has north. Like, not everybody knows the directions of a compass.
Oh yeah.
So the fact that they only have north is weird. Like, would it have been that difficult to implement an east, a west, and a south?
It would have definitely helped, because, like, I think I remember asking at one point when we were playing, I was like, what is this direction?
Yeah.
Like, where am I going?
Not everybody knows the east from the west, and it's such a little change that they could have made, but to this day, I believe they still haven't done that. I'm pretty sure Retail WoW still just has the north. I'm sure there are like fucking some obscure add-ons out there that can help with that. There are fucking add-ons for everything, but yeah, it should be implemented.
I also liked when we picked his race. We picked Night Elf. We got his unique racial traits. So like, each race has different unique traits, which I like. It's more depth to that. It's more depth to that race, and it can add depth to your character that you're playing.
Yeah.
I also liked when we was picking I'll just call them classes. Well, that's what they are. So I picked a druid, and I have specific druid-only quests.
Yep.
And they tell a story like I've just got my bear form, which, as we're all aware, I love my bear form. But like there was a little quest line behind it, a little storyline behind it, where you had to go and learn about the bear spirit, about your inner bear spirit, and go and fight this other spirit to get to claim it.
Yeah, the druid class quests specifically are really cool. Like, it feels like you have to earn that increase of power, that new form.
Yeah.
Like, at level 16, you're going to be able to get your aquatic form, which is going to have you, like, swimming in the fucking deep depths of the ocean, which I'm sure you're going to be absolutely happy with. But eventually, when you get that form, you can then swim indefinitely without having to hold your breath. You're just like some fucking, I think it's a sea lion or some shit, and you're just swimming around like a motherfucker. It's great.
Oh god, is this optional?
Yeah. You don't have to get it if you don't want to.
Okay, I may pass. Depends how the ultralotophobia is kicking in. Because, like...
Sorry, go on.
As you know, deep bodies of water, frighten me. In games, it's worse.
Yeah, I get that. The like absence of light as well as like the whole crushing weight essentially around you.
Yep.
It's not one of my phobias, but I can see why.
Yeah. Subnautica is the one that gets me for water.
Yep.
Mm-mm.
Made a horror game like, nope, I ain't doing it. I ain't doing it. The amount of times I'll quit and go back just to go back into the ship, like, yep, I'm good.
Oh gosh. But back to the point so far. Because a lot of the stuff that I'm thinking is stuff that Martin's already said, and I agree with, like about the test time and how it's built and how robust it is.
Yeah.
So overall, I'm having a good time with it. I enjoy it, and but I feel like time melts away when we've played it. 'Cause we've been we've been playing this for 3 hours. It feels like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
The only
And that's the sign
gripe,
of a good game, though.
the only gripe I have is when certain quests where we have to say, the example, I don't know, it could be something random like collect 3 seeds. And it's not like a shared thing, which is understandable, but the
respawn rates. Oh my god! Yeah.
Sort of just wandering where we was getting to the point where we was like, right, we will just go and pick up this other quest and do that, and then circle back round when we're returning this quest to do this other quest.
Yeah. The most painful one was the boxes in that cave.
Yes.
I feel like because basically there were 4 boxes and each of us had to collect them, and they had like a 3-4 minute cooldown, something like that, until they respawned.
Yep.
So that was a lot of waiting around.
Definitely.
Yeah, it was get this first box and run to the second one to try hopefully get back to time for the other one.
Yeah.
As well, if it was even going to be there. Yeah.
So, what about you, Martin? What did you think about your
my class? My priest. I always like being the healer.
Yeah.
In every game, I had the in my bio on the Xbox Team Medic for like 6 years because it's all I played. Anytime there's a medic in a game, clicking it. Yeah, I like the class. I feel like it's really well balanced. It's good because you can tell they had in mind that they wanted it to be for big raids. You know, they had the end game in mind as they were making it.
Yeah.
We have in 20 people raids because I already have 3 different heal abilities. Never mind the other ranks of them as well, and I can then click on the people to do that. And obviously, the ranks can make it to where the mana does. So I know I have to maybe do a lesser level spells, so everyone gets a heal. They have the heals over time spells, and they have the one major heal. The amount of time to cast them is good enough to where you can really keep that one person up that you're focused on, and kind of swap them between. Maybe give them so you have to actually think about it. It's not just mindless clicking. Everyone's at full health. All the time, or you just constantly just spam clicking on one character just to keep that person alive because they're at the front. You know, there are other moves that you can do that to where you're not having to do that. So it really takes the redundantness of a lot of healer classes out.
Yeah. I will say that dungeons are, well, if the tank does his job properly, Sam.
All eyes on me.
Dungeons are going to be that because the enemies are elites. They're a lot tougher. They're our level, but they're fucking 5 times as tough as normal enemies of our level. Yeah. And they're all going to be attacking Sam, so it is going to be a lot of spamming heals on him, and occasionally telling him to hold the fuck up so you can drink some water, get your mana back.
Yeah, because at the moment I don't have to worry about my mana.
No,
I've ran out twice in the entire time I've been doing it, and that's mainly because I'm sat there casting attacking spells. Because there's no reason for me to keep on healing. But I bet I'll even put shields on you as well, because that's another thing I can do. I put shields on. Yeah. And we tested how much of a difference that shield makes.
Yep.
You know, in the PvP side, so it was it is. Yeah, I really enjoy the class. I'm glad I picked priest. I don't know how paladin would have worked, because obviously I like playing paladin in D&D. But
yeah, paladin is similar to D&D. They get less healing. Although I suppose that's technically not true because paladins have lay on hands. And they can get cure wounds and healing word, and other healers just get cure wounds and healing word, and they might get some subclass thing. Okay, I take that back. Basically, paladins, they will get 3 or 4 healing spells compared to the priest who gets like lesser heal, flash heal, heal, greater heal, and other ones on top of that. Priests have so much more variety, whereas paladins, it's very much like doing minimal heals and occasionally doing a big heal. There are basically like 2 heals you'll use. There's also one called Lay on Hands, funnily enough, that will like fully heal somebody, but it drains all of your mana. So it's only worth using it like if you're very, very desperate. So you'll basically just be using Flash Heal and Holy Light. That's all you'll be using as a paladin, which I have enjoyed, but it's not exactly challenging, I guess.
Hmm.
But it's still good.
Yeah, but I generally enjoy this priest class. Sit there healing. I mean, like obviously this thing we haven't done any dungeons or raids yet, so it might change as I go along. But at the moment, I'm looking at the spells and thinking they have taken a lot of redundantness of that, depending on how many more heal spells I get. At the moment, I could put on like a heal over time for someone on the side that might take back for one enemy or something, and the main tank obviously I can then do a couple of heals on, give them a shield. And yes, it's not just spam the same spell because there's one ultimate healing spell, and it's pointless clicking anything else. So you just like click, click. There's at least multiple different things I can do.
I will say the shield, it's not going to be useful for Sam because as a bear, he is basically a warrior, so he's going to get his mana equivalent, rage by getting hit and by like hitting things. So unfortunately, the shield isn't going to come into much play unless we're like soloing things, or if you get aggro, so you can like pop a shield on yourself and hope that somebody saves you. Basically, you also won't be doing much attacking. You'll be going into like full healer mode for dungeons.
That's fine. I only like attack things at the moment because there's no point being full heal because I can't heal anymore because you're not taking damage. But when we do get to dungeons and stuff and I have to go through it, that's fine. Yeah. I like the micromanagement side of it on MMOs where I'm looking at the health bars and I click, right, you do that, you do that, you do that. And just keeping all the bars up.
Yeah. So yeah, the original plan when I suggested this game was we wanted to finish a dungeon. So we are currently we got up to level 14, I think. Was it 14, 13?
14.
Yeah. I know we were definitely at 12. I think I hit 13. I don't think I hit 14 yet.
Right.
No, I didn't because I didn't go buying the spells. So I don't think I did.
And the first dungeon that we can do as Alliance, the Dead Mines, is suggested for like level 18 plus. So we're nearly at the place where we can do that, although we need to like do a whole marathon to get to the human area. Okay. That's where that's where the dungeon is.
We got to take the ring to Mordor. Okay.
Yeah, basically. Through like a level 30 zone.
That's crocodiles. Why even give a dungeon like that then? If that
it's daft, but so I think once we finish the Dead Mines next week, we're gonna have updated thoughts, and I'll find out if you guys want to keep playing it. I know, obviously, there's like time consideration because Martin works and whatnot, but yeah, I'll be interested to hear your updated thoughts next week.
Aye. Nice one then.
So, moving on to the news.
The news. All right, first one on the agenda then. You taking that one, Nick? Was it?
Oh yeah, I am.
Yeah.
I need it spelled out to me. I need my name next to it in bold. There we go. Right now, I'll remember.
There we go. There's a go. Yes.
Right. So the PlayStation State of Play happened. It was about a 30-minute long event, and they showed off a bunch of new games and a bunch of stuff that we knew was coming, but had like updated trailers or release dates and whatnot. So starting off at the top of the list, the Resident Evil 4 remake finally has a trailer and more info, and a release date of March the 24th of next year. which is very exciting. They also said that it'll be coming to PSVR. Oh, they said they're working on PSVR content for it, which I can only assume means it's coming out on PSVR. I mean, like, for standard Resident Evil 4, they reworked that for the Oculus Quest 2, which is incredible, by the way. Everyone should try that if you've got one. And, yeah, I am very fucking excited for that. I don't know how I feel about the... have you both seen the trailer? Yes, you. Yeah. I don't know how I feel about the rework for Ashley. It reminds me of, like, fucking Skyrim beautification mods, where people make, like, female characters look fucking gorgeous, and it looks completely out of place. But I guess until I see other people in the game, it's kind of hard to compare. Because we haven't really properly seen Leon. We've kind of seen a bunch of, like, side-on views of him.
Like in the car, wasn't it? I think driving up one point. But yeah, it's... Yeah.
It does... From what we have seen of him, it does kind of look like an evolution of his Resident Evil 2 remake model, though. Yeah. Like, he doesn't look like a completely fucking different person, like between Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil 6, for example.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it didn't. Yeah.
They also announced Resident Evil Village is coming to PSVR, so we can now be stepped on in VR.
Yay!
Look forward to that.
There's a lot of people want to see.
Anyone else got anything to add to that, or?
I mean, when I saw the trailer for that, I'm just gonna be honest. As soon as I saw Lady Dimitrescu, immediately my brain just went, "Mommy." And immediately after that, when it said PSVR 2, my brain was like, "I need this." So
it's something that, like,
yes.
Yeah. A lot of people will use it for that. Definitely will buy it for that, and they know that. I'm looking forward to just actually seeing it in VR. Yeah. I think it's gonna be really cool. Even watching like Resi 7 in VR was really interesting, because it's still even seen to this day as VR as more of a gimmick.
Yeah,
I would argue it's very much seen that way. It's very much like, oh, you play just a little thing like a little boxing game, you play a little sword fighting game, you know. A bit like
on-rail shooter.
Yeah, and people are starting to make real good strides with it, where they're taking, like, you know, the things you can stand on and run around on, you know, like in person, actual move your character. So they're all making changes, but seeing Resident Evil 7 in VR, I remember was like, wow, they can actually make a good-looking game in VR, because it wasn't until that day. And then Half-Life Alyx came out, and that changed a lot of VR for people. So yeah, it's cool to see this kind of push that they're doing and taking these games that are already in first person, putting them into VR and it being the same.
Village is such like a good looking game as well.
Yeah.
I kind of wonder how much they're going to have to downgrade that look, if at all. Like, the cynic in me says they're going to have to downgrade it, but I mean, we don't know how the PSVR is, or PSVR 2 is going to, how powerful it's going to be, so let's... find out.
Is PSVR 2 only coming for PS5 or something as well?
Yes.
Probably.
Yeah. So they're taking advantage of the next gen consoles. So I don't think they'll have to. That might be why they're doing it for that, so they don't have to downgrade. Yeah.
I would be incredibly disappointed, but I would also laugh so hard if we got Resi Village on PSVR 2, booted it up, and everything was just like 8-bit. I'd be like...
No, the characters I want to simp over. They're really
like polygonal.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
Further state of play news. SpiderMan Remastered is coming to PC in August, on August 12th, which is interesting. I'm pretty sure they've always said that's going to be like PlayStation.
Oh,
yeah. In fact, did you see the video that was going around of like the guy who sawed his PS4 Pro Spider-Man in half? Like, basically, he had the like PS4 Pro, which was like the upgraded PS4.
Yeah. And
they did like a release of Spider-Man ones, so it was all red with like the new Spider-Man symbol on it,
Yeah.
Okay.
and he ended up like taking a fucking saw to it and cutting it in half because of this. Supposedly because of this
What?
reveal. It's fucking daft. Just
People with more money than sense.
yeah.
Do you know the
Basically.
funny thing about this coming out on PC? You know somebody's gonna mod the living fuck out
Oh
of it.
yes.
And
yeah,
I,
the mods.
I personally can't wait to see what people mod into it.
Yeah, you're gonna get a lot of thirsty mods. You're gonna get a lot of silly mods.
Yep.
I'm waiting for all the Shrek
100%.
ones. I'm just waiting to scroll on TikTok one day and obviously see Shrek swinging through the sea.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking Coach from Left 4 Dead. I feel like everyone's obsessed with Coach from Left 4 Dead.
Yeah.
Just see Coach swinging through New York.
Right, next piece.
I want to see Mr. T swinging past, and every time we go past an NPC swings past him, I pity the fool and just carries on.
Next piece of State of Play news. Horizon Forbidden West is getting or has got a major update, which includes New Game Plus, a harder difficulty mode, and visual enhancements for performance mode. So performance mode is usually like the 60 FPS, and I guess they're just making that look prettier while keeping 60 FPS. Which is cool for people who like that game.
Yeah.
Additionally, for Horizon, it's getting a PSVR 2 title. I don't believe we know much about it, but like, I'm curious who that's going to be about. Because Aloy is such like the fucking the poster child for Horizon that are you going to be playing as Aloy? Or are you going to be playing some randomer? I haven't played Forbidden West, so I don't know if like that wraps up her story or anything like that. So it'll be interesting to hear about that when more details come out.
Yeah, and I wonder how much of it's just like a marketing push or something, even for it. It's like, look, this place cool. If you got time, it's just going to be looking at the dinosaurs or something. I don't know.
It did look like there was some sort of rock climbing gameplay to it, and I think she was, or they were on a turret at one point shooting at one of the dinosaurs.
Okay, so a little bit more then.
Yeah, you do kind of wonder if it's just going to be like a linear 2-hour affair.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
Yeah, we'll find out.
The Callisto Protocol has a trailer and a release date of December the 2nd. So when this first came on, this trailer, I watched the event live. I thought it was going to be Dead Space. I was like, wow, this is looking a lot like Dead Space. This is looking insanely like Dead Space. It wasn't.
And the excitement of thinking that it'd be Dead Space as well.
Yeah. There was a weird thing about the Callisto Protocol where it was meant to be set in the PUBG universe.
Yep.
But they've like since gone back on that. Which is like watching that trailer is just fucking bizarre. Like,
well, why it was going to be that in the first place in the PUBG universe?
Yeah. Because there's shit in there that are straight up like necromorphs, like Dead Space necromorphs. They've got like fucking zombie growths on them and shit like that. Really bizarre.
Yeah.
I never understood though when there was like the PUBG universe was, and I don't care if it's name calling because I felt like it was a trait he had when PUBG got big and then all the other Battle Royale games came out. Was they just gonna like, was Brendan Green just gonna like pop up and go, I invented Battle Royale, even though that's like not true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Pretty sure I'll start out as a mod.
I'm looking forward to the Callisto Protocol. I'm definitely.
Yeah, it looks very interesting. I want to see more gameplay personally.
Yeah. Because it's always saying it's like cinematic trailer, and it's like, well, you know, like you probably could make it look very similar to it, but I think we've been put off too much in the past from games.
Like fucking Dead Island.
Like this.
Yep.
Dead Island, and even then, like seeing gameplay even during it, like we had the Watch Dogs incident. You know, when it got severely downgraded. It's something I'll always remember because of how. That's just Ubisoft in a nutshell. Yeah, I feel like this is very inspired by Dead Space.
Yeah,
even to have like the health bar essentially on the back of his neck.
Can I hear an ice cream truck?
Yeah, sorry, that's on my end. Let me close my window.
Damn it! I thought there was ice cream.
Next piece of news. In fact, we can just say all these together. So, Bunch of trailers dropped as well. We've got Rollerdrome, which is like a weird slow motion roller skating shooter. Not entirely sure what that is. It looks single player, so that'll be interesting to see. Eternights or Eternights, don't know how it's pronounced. Some anime game where you.
Yeah, it's a bit like Eternites, as if like eternal.
Oh yeah, maybe
Eternites, I guess,
Eternights.
maybe.
It's
Either
some
way.
anime game where you're an emo kid, you lose your arm, and you can hold hands with a girl.
Yeah, it's like the dating sim.
Yeah, it's meant to be like a RPG mixed with a dating sim sort of thing.
Yeah, like it's. I'm all for anime games. It's funny, like one of the like main people on the poster just looks like Marin from like what's it called now? Like I date a girlfriend or something. Or might imagine a girlfriend or some future girl. I can't remember what it is. But really, really popular anime character at the moment. It's like, oh, let's give her the exact same hair and eye colours and make it look the exact same. But yeah, I think that's the most thing about like a lot of Japanese RPG games. They're anime. They always have to put in a little bit of dating, but now they're going more full on with it. That they're calling it, a dating sim as well.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'm sure somebody's excited about it.
Yeah, more for anime games. I'm excited.
I was going to say Martin.
Yeah, I am a weeb and I'm okay with it.
Final Fantasy 16 has a new trailer. Any Final Fantasy fans in the house?
Unfortunately, not got to play yet. I
Tumble
played one on my phone, but there's so much to catch up on though with the 16 already. It's mad.
Yeah. Street Fighter 6 has a trailer as well. Not much of a fighting game guy, but I mean it's pretty. I'll give it that. Like they kind of had a weird like color splash effect when people were getting punched in the trailer, which is fun aesthetic. It looked good on my TV with the fucking backlighting though.
Yeah.
I'll give it that much.
I bet it would. Yeah. I'm a huge fan. I've been a fan of the Street Fighter series since the SNES, along with Tekken and things. I'm kind of excited to bring this new character in. I think he gets customized or something. I can't remember if it was talked about. I think it was.
Yeah, it almost looks like there's like an open world-ish mode where you're like running around the streets and finding random mass people to fight.
Exactly, and I'm good with that because I remember even on the SNES Street Fighter, like you were flying around the world to go fight people. Every time he's a new fighter, you'd just fly off to that part of the world. Map is up. You'd fly there and fight the person. I'm excited definitely to check this one out. I'm more just waiting for like how the graphics are because I was put off from like 4 or 5 when they started downgrading the graphics and making them very cartoony. You had every other fighting game like Tekken and Dead or Alive where they're just improving it. Like to make it look really realistic. So yeah, I'm like this one looks pretty decent though. Like even that, I'm okay with the little splash of color things and the little effects. I'll be okay with that. I just want it to look good.
Well, hopefully it will be good.
Yeah, hopefully.
Honestly, didn't Street Fighter 5 not go down very well? I feel like I heard a lot about Street Fighter 4, but 5 just...
Under the radar.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was under the radar for a lot of people, and that was... Yeah, it just because it felt pointless. Side-to-side games, there's thousands of them out of side-to-side fighting games, and Street Fighter like 5, even 4 or 5, really didn't have anything to offer except for characters that you already knew. Like, I could play this character again.
Yeah.
That's even the point. Nothing else had changed, nothing to do. And that's what they've done now. They've changed it. It seems to have an open world running around, so it's worthwhile checking out. Because they've at least adapted upon it. Yeah, it really did flop. It should have sold a lot more.
Next piece. Tunic and Season A Letter to the Future are coming to PS4 and PS5 on September the 27th and in the fall, respectively. So, Tunic I've been having my eye on for a while. Mainly because he plays like a little fox dude, and I believe it's a roguelike. And I think that is just on... Is it? I should check before I fucking say anything, actually. I want to say it's just on PC. Nope, don't Google Tunic. Google Tunic game. Otherwise, you're going to get a bunch of medieval shit. Oh no, it's on Xbox as well. But yeah, now it's coming to PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. So I'm looking forward to Tunic. And Season, I've no idea one way or the other what it is. And the final piece of state of play news is the most important one.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Stray, the free-running cat postal service game with a world full of robots, is confirmed to be coming out in July 19th.
Hell
of this
yeah.
year.
Yes.
I cannot wait for that. The cat
Same.
straight up looks like Toffee.
Yes.
So, let's pretend it's Toffee until he dies, and then I'll just cry.
That's how you go focus. Like, you had green eyes, it's different, okay? Yeah.
That's basically a sum up of State of Play. It was a good event. Like, I feel like previous State of Plays have been a little weak, whereas this has been really good. Even though I haven't cared about half of this stuff, but it seems like a strong showcase. And there is more to come. Not for State of Play, but yeah.
Nice.
Next piece of news, we've got some quick fires to go through.
We have.
Yeah. Isn't it nearly all quick fires until the very end?
This is where I load up my machine gun of quick fire news, strap on my helmet, put on some Flight of the Valkyries in the background, and let's begin. The PlayStation 5 has sold 20 million units worldwide. In a statement, a representative for Sony said, "Please know that we are planning on a significant ramp-up in PS5 production this year, and we are working endlessly to make sure that PlayStation 5 is available for everyone who wants one."
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of crazy that it sold that many when they were having, like, the chip shortage.
Yeah.
But
that was...
there's a will.
There is a way.
Hey.
Dragon Age 4 has officially been titled Dragon Age Dreadwolf. Personally, I'm not a Dragon Age fan, but for everyone out there, Dreadwolf incoming.
No, I kind of played. I played through Origins. I played a little bit of 2, and I didn't like Inquisition at all.
Yeah, I didn't like Inquisition. I'm hoping this one's better.
I hope so. I definitely do hope so. Wolfenstein: The New Order, good game in my opinion, is free on the Epic Game Store right now, so log on to that game store and claim.
Very good game.
Very good game. Gonna definitely sit and play that again. This is an interesting one for me to be saying. Will Arnett, very, very good actor. He's done plenty of voice work in the past for movies. I think he did Batman in the Lego Movie. He is voicing Sweet Tooth in the Twisted Metal TV series.
Fair enough. To be honest, I thought that was a live action thing. I suppose it might be because he's like Sweet Tooth wears a fucking clown mask, so I guess you don't see his mouth move.
Yeah, so it could be. Capcom Showcase is happening June the 13th, which will include updates on previously announced games. One of them is a Resident Evil 4 remake, which is going to be shown off further. They're going to deep dive into it more, so hopefully we get that fabled gameplay we are waiting for.
Oh, I can't wait.
USB-C will be mandatory for phones sold in the EU by autumn 2024. I think it's about time that certain people, Apple
get standardized.
Standardized and used USB-C. Like everything uses USB-C now. Next piece on the quickfire. The ESA, which is the parent company of E3, has stated and confirmed that E3 will return in 2023.
Yay.
That does help put to bed some of the rumours that because of the last couple of years of the pandemic and, of course, them totally missing E3 this year, so it's been replaced with, like, Summer of Games and everything else that's going on. There was just a little rumour going around that, E3 might be on its way out, but apparently not, so...
I kind of wonder how much legs E3 has. Like... Summer Games Fest is doing so fucking well. Are people just going to end up migrating to that instead of E3? Or is like the name alone going to carry E3?
I feel like there'll be definitely sometimes there'll be a lot of behind the scenes work where they have to sort of be like, come to us. And I think the biggest part of that will be getting Jeff Keighley on board.
Yeah,
He's organised this entire Summer Games Fest.
I love Jeff Keighley.
I love him. He's
Great guy.
He is brilliant. But yeah, so they are back next year, and I hope it's a good one. I hope the year off does prove beneficial for them in the long run. A new Minecraft game is in the works. I feel like there's always a new Minecraft game in the works. This one, however, appears to be a real-time strategy game where you command units in third person. Potentially, it is being revealed at the Summer Game Showcase. I'd be guessing that would be Xbox.
Yeah.
Yes, Microsoft. But yeah, I'll definitely have my ear to the ground for that one and see if anything is announced. John Madden, of course, namesake for the Madden franchise games. He is going to be this year's cover star for the latest installment of Madden, which is different considering for the past God knows how many for entrances to that franchise they have just used famous football players for American football. I think it's kind of more of a fitting tribute because Madden passed away December 28th last year, so I think that may be why they are doing it.
And it's
Have you seen the review scores for the last two Madden games?
No.
Like, Sam, you know that video that you sent me about Diablo Immortal?
Uh-huh.
He basically went on, like, the Metacritic website to look up, like, the worst reviewed games. And Madden 22 and 21 were toward the very bottom. It was, like, the second most and the fifth worst reviewed games on Metacritic.
Jeez.
So... the cynic in me, I hope this is wrong, but the cynic in me is telling me that they're doing this to sell copies.
Yeah.
They're still going to half-ass the game, but because it has John Madden on the cover, that's like a desperate plea for people to buy copies.
Yeah. No, I can see that, honestly. But I mean, see how it goes for him, I guess.
Yeah.
But if the last couple of games have done bad, then there usually tends to be a trend there which needs fixing way beyond let's slap the guy we've named the game after on it.
Yeah.
It's just kind of bad taste, I guess. If that is the case to sell copies, it's incredibly bad taste. But
yeah, I want to think of it that it's just a good homage to him.
Yeah.
And
the final round in my machine gun of Quickfire, The Tomorrow Children, is returning to PS4 and PS5.
Did either of you play or see anything of The Tomorrow Children?
Nope. It's the first time I'm hearing about it.
I never played it myself, but it was a really weird game. It was a free-to-play game, and it had a lot of gross microtransaction stuff in there. I don't know the exact details of it, but it wasn't good stuff. But the aesthetic of the game was like a weird kind of
claymation looking thing almost.
Yeah, it's like a claymation steampunk Soviet sort of thing. It's really weird. I love the aesthetic, but it ended up getting closed down. I guess it just didn't have a big enough player base. It got closed down in 2017, maybe?
Yeah, it says 4 years ago, so it was 2018 then.
But I believe the company ended up getting, all the IP ended up getting acquired by another company. And I guess they are bringing it back. Hopefully with less gross microtransaction stuff.
I feel like gross microtransactions in any game is what can be the death knell for it.
Diablo.
I definitely, oh god, I won't go too deep into Diablo because it's not here, but I feel like that's gonna suffer.
Yep.
Big time. If you're gonna do a game that's free to play and you're going to monetize it, fair, you need some sort of income, you need to monetize it somehow, but don't be so pushy and aggressive with it. It's not going to work at all. But that concludes the quickfire. gentlemen.
Nice.
And that leaves us with just one.
Final news story.
Yeah, a heavy one.
So, yeah, kind of. Well, for me, anyway. So, a lot of times when I talk, I've got very scattered thoughts. My mind wanders a lot. My mouth wanders a lot. My mouth works faster than my brain, as I've said in the past. And there's a fair bit to this story. I'll be talking a lot. God help you all. So I just want to preface this story by saying that, by putting that out there. So Jeff Gerstmann is leaving Giant Bomb after 14 years. So Jeff is one of the two co-founders of Giant Bomb. The other one was Ryan Davis, who unfortunately passed away in 2013, I believe. The story of Jeff Gerstmann is it's a long and very interesting one that I'm going to butcher. But essentially, he was working for GameSpot, and GameSpot back in the day, they used to take advertising money from people. So a company would be like, right, we want to advertise this game on your site, so they're going to be start putting like banners or trailers up on the site and whatnot. And they had to do that for Kane and Lynch, the very first Kane and Lynch game. During which time, because it was obviously around release, Jeff was the guy who he handled all of the review team stuff. He was like the editor for the reviews, and he had to give a review for Kane and Lynch. I think it was called Kane and Lynch Dead Men was the first game. Mm-hmm. He gave it a less than positive review. I think he gave it 6 out of 10 stars, which isn't a bad review by any means. But because of this and because of the partnership that they had at the time, GameSpot ended up firing Jeff, essentially. So he left, and a few other people followed in his stead. And Giant Bomb was created, and it quickly grew into Jeff, this guy Vincent Garavella, Brad Shoemaker. They had also been working at GameSpot at the time. They decided to leave because obviously they were friends with Jeff, they respected him, and they joined this Giant Bomb thing. And Giant Bomb, it didn't really go off. It didn't really explode, pun intended. It was kind of a slow burn, but it was a really like tight-knit community. They did a lot of... It was very persona-driven, I guess you could say, where all these people with like big personalities were injecting themselves and their interest into Giant Bomb, this like baby that Jeff and Ryan had made. And Giant Bomb's it's something very close to my heart. I've been following Giant Bomb since my brother introduced me to it back in like fucking high school at this point. And it was shortly after Ryan, the other co-founder, had died. And it was magnetic because of the like personalities. They all had their different how do you say this? Not quirks of personalities, but they all had the different thing going on. Jeff was very much like he was a cynical guy. It felt like he saw the bad in everything before he saw the good in it. I feel like I'm talking about like he's fucking dead. He's not dead. Jeff's absolutely fine. He's starting up his own thing. He's got his own podcast going. He's got a Patreon. He's got a YouTube channel. He's got a Twitch.
Yes, so his fine is not like him leaving Giant Bomb's not like could be the be on and end all. He'll still be around then.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Giant Bomb it ended up getting acquired, funnily enough, by I think it's CBS Interactive. Ended up acquiring it, the people who actually owned GameSpot. So,
Oh, God.
in some horrible twist of fate, we don't know the details around that. It could have been like a forced acquisition, or Jeff could have been fined to hand the reins over. We don't know. But ever since then, it kind of went weirdly downhill. They'd recycle out the cast a few times, like Dan Reichert. I don't know if you guys know who he is, but he joined at some point and ended up leaving. Drew Scanlon, the blinking white guy meme, he joined. In fact, the blinking white guy meme is straight up from a Giant Bomb video. All these really big, interesting personalities. And yeah, I guess at some point, like pre-pandemic, Jeff had been thinking of just moving on from the whole thing. But for some reason, over the few years of the pandemic, he just hadn't bothered until now, where he has very fucking suddenly departed. There was no clues leading up to this, or there might have been subtle things or whatever, but nothing anybody actually picked up on. And yeah, he just straight up dropped out, and he decided to do a 5-hour Twitch stream that I watched the entirety of on I believe it was Tuesday night, where he didn't go into explicit detail as to why, but it seemed like the burden, I guess you could call it, of working for a giant corporation was just not in his interest. And he felt like the best way to escape that, essentially, was to just leave and start up Giant Bomb 2.0 kind of thing, only completely by himself. He even says in the thing, his passion is doing this video game journalism thing, but Giant Bomb had unfortunately changed in a lot of ways since the acquisition, that he felt the need to move on. That guy has been in the business for, I think, 30 years, something like that, of video game journalism, and he's been at the forefront of a lot of it. He is friends with so many fucking developers. The amount of cameos he'd get on Giant Bomb E3 shows and stuff like that was fucking hell, so good. They just put out content like no other site. They didn't pander to all of these companies.
Yeah.
They weren't afraid to say it. If a game's shit, they're gonna fucking say it. There's no especially fucking Jeff is. There's no sugarcoating it in front of these people who he calls friends, who are either at the top of these companies or working somewhere within these companies. He'll just come out and fucking say it. And yeah, I've always admired that about Jeff. I admired him for a lot of things, but at the risk of rambling on, because I don't want to do that, I wish him all the best in his future endeavors, and I am going to happily follow him every fucking step of the way. I'm going to subscribe to his Twitch, and I'm going to subscribe to his Patreon. I'm more than happy to give that man my money. He hasn't... Well, he's been fairly clear on what he plans to do next. Essentially, he's going to keep up the podcasting thing. He's going to be basically doing everything that he did at Giant Bomb, only he's going to be his own boss.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to ramble on for too long, but it's worth looking up a more coherent explanation of Jeff's story on YouTube or whatnot. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
I am just to throw in there, Nick. I know I messaged you earlier and, today. Actually, I sat and listened to his first podcast.
Yeah.
And it was good. It was good. Like I admit, I've sort of like I've known of Giant Bomb. I've listened to a couple of the Giant Bomb casts, but I wasn't into it like you was. Like, so this was like my first experience. Call it from. I knew his story about the whole Kane and Lynch review because I thought that was quite hilarious. Like he sort of stood for what he believes in. And that I respect that about him. So sort of taking it as a new listener, listen to this podcast, I can tell that he's definitely, even outside of Giant Bomb, he's going to have more freedom to do what he wants.
100%.
Obviously, I can imagine after 14 years of what was his baby, like, it's going to be hard. But
yeah, I mean, he straight up created it with his best friend, Ryan Davis.
Yeah.
And, like, it's weird, when Ryan passed away, you could tell. Obviously, it's going to fucking hurt Jeff, but you could tell, like, his enthusiasm kind of dropped a little bit. And then all of these people he was calling friends started, like, leaving. Like, Vinny Caravella, Alex Navarro, and Brad Shoemaker, they were kind of three of the mainstays, and all three of them left last year, I think it... Oh, no, the year before last, I believe.
Yeah.
And they started up their own thing called Nextlander, which is also, like, really good. Don't get me wrong. But it basically left Jeff kind of alone.
Yeah.
And surrounded by all these new people who I'm sure are still his friends and whatnot, but it's just not the same when everybody else has gone.
Yeah.
And I think I touched on it briefly earlier. He said that if it wasn't for the pandemic, he'd have already left Giant Bomb.
Yes.
So these last 2 years were just him, like, clinging onto it. And it hasn't... Giant Bomb hasn't really been the same in the pandemic, because everything obviously has had to be online. It's had to be all video calls and whatnot.
Yeah.
Whereas they used to, like, just shoot the shit and fucking sit on this dog shit fucking sofa that was riddled with fucking God knows what sort of insects. And they just play games on TVs and shit like that.
Yeah.
And fucking eat pizzas in the middle of streams. Just completely fucking unprofessional. In fact, that specific show was called Unprofessional Friday because they were just like fucking shooting the shit on Friday. And it really lost a lot of its charm.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's very sad to see him go. He was one of the only reasons I was kind of sticking with Giant Bomb. A lot of the, like, you go into the YouTube comments of most of their videos and it's just people shitting on them. It's people saying, like, oh, bring back the old cast, and Giant Bomb died when Ryan died, which is the fucking worst one. I hate that shit.
There's a shit comment to leave.
Yeah, it's... Yeah, Giant Bomb also put out a video revealing that they're bringing on a couple more people. They're bringing on Lucy James, who works at, like, GameSpot's British counterpart, Tamar Hussain, who also works with her, and Jeff Grubb, who's like a prolific leaker. He's kind of up there with Nibellion, who we get a lot of our news stories from. Which, they're all great people, so oh yeah, they're also bringing back a old cast member. But yeah, I'm excited to see what both Giant Bomb and Jeff do next. What the next chapter looks like.
Yeah.
And I guess that's where I'm going to leave it off, at the risk of rambling some fucking more.
So, good luck, Jeff. We got you back.
Right.
You've got a new fan here. And many more to come, definitely. But yeah, good luck, Jeff. Okay, so we're now tiptoeing into the segment of new/upcoming games/movies/TV shows /D&D books/whatever, and also reviews of new games/movies/TV shows /D&D books/whatever.
That title needs to be changed.
It does.
New title pending.
We will think of one eventually.
Who came up with that shit?
I don't know.
Who knows at this point? Who knows?
I don't know. Blame GameSpot.
Oh, no, definitely wouldn't have been Nick writing it.
Oh no, definitely not me.
Definitely. Nick's innocent in this one.
Exactly.
So first up on the list, we have The Boys Season 3. The first 4 episodes. Oh, the first 3 episodes, sorry. The 4th one is coming. And yeah, do we want to give a review? A spoiler-free one.
Yes, obviously spoiler. Well, I want to preface everything that we're going to do now is spoiler-free.
Yeah.
Just for anyone who sort of heard the word The Boys and then went, oh shit, I need to avoid this. Don't worry, there's no spoilers, you're safe. So, that one scene where Homelander takes that person... I'm joking, everyone, I'm joking, that doesn't happen. And I knew the first like bunch. Did they all drop on the same day?
The first 3 episodes, yeah.
Yeah, 'cause they all dropped while I was at Slam Dunk, which is a festival for anyone who's wondering. Google it, you'll be amazed. So I didn't get to see them when they first came out, and I sort of just sat on them a little. And I think I only really thought to watch them, Nick, when you messaged me and said, "Have you watched them yet?" And then I sat and eventually watched them. And yeah, The Boys is showing no sign of slowing down.
Nope. That's an understatement.
There's one scene in particular that was... Fuck me.
That was fucking howling. My sides were hurting. My face was hurting. It's very good. Let's just say it keeps up the pace of the previous seasons.
Yes.
In fact, it escalates it.
That one bit, yeah. Especially that one bit in particular. I know I messaged you and I was like, what the fuck? And I just sort of left it behind. But on the other side of that screen was me absolutely in tears.
It's very good. It remains
funny.
Good. Like, The Boys hasn't really dipped much, in my opinion. It's it's solid. What would you give season 3 then? What would you give The Boys in general? Yeah.
The Boys in general, you see, people are gonna maybe say I'm doing it for the clout, which, God, I'm the least clouted person on planet Earth. I want to give it a solid 10.
Alright, okay, it's perfect.
Fucking love it.
Fair enough.
I love The Boys. What would you give it?
I give it a nice 8.5. Do we do 0.5s? We're gonna
yeah,
do
we can do 0.5s. It's respectable, is that?
I don't know, I think it's the lazy way out, but I'm still going to do it. Yeah, I highly recommend The Boys to everybody, especially season 3. Although don't skip any. Watch it all.
Yeah, watch it from the...
Speaking of which, the 4th episode is out on June the 10th, which I believe is this Friday.
It is this Friday.
So it'll be out while we're talking about it now, or while the podcast is out.
Yes.
But it's currently Wednesday.
Yeah. Obi-Wan Kenobi episode 4. You've totally given up on this now, haven't you, Nick?
Yeah.
Kenobi. I haven't. I'm going to see it through to the end. I'm still enjoying it. Although, to be fair, some parts of it do make, particularly in this episode, make it seem like a fan film. Which sucks. And if I had to do an out of 10 review for this episode in particular this week, I would be woefully giving it a 5.5.
Fair enough. Ouch.
Yeah, see, because this thing when it comes to a lot of, like, fan productions, It's two different types. There's a fan production where they really enjoy the series, that they like the whole story and everything, the whole world that they're creating something in, and it's absolutely fantastic. And then there's other fan ones that like play off as fan ones that don't really make sense because they didn't fully understand the characters and they just want to make something fun and quirky. In that universe. Are you saying then this is a fan one, so it's more just the weird fun quirky with them? There's something like they wanted to give the Obi-Wan story, but they didn't really have a direction. Is that what we were talking about?
What I mean is that overall so far with the series, you can tell that it's like been a thoroughly developed, like official, legit Star Wars production. But there is just certain elements, whether there's certain scenes or certain lines of dialogue, or even certain... The best way to put it is, if you ever sat down and, say, looked at your favourite video game and looked at two characters and gone, wouldn't it be cool if they did that?
Okay.
But it's in your head, so head canon, basically.
Yeah.
It's like certain scenes as if they've just sat there and gone, do you know what would be cool if character A and character B did this, even if it makes no sense at all. It would just be awesome to say, wow, it happened. And there's certain elements like that. Those are the bits where it feels like a fan movie or a fan series.
I see. Okay.
That's
It's
what
like how Star Wars keeps going back to Tatooine. This desert planet that nobody knows about, but for some reason everybody ends up there.
Yeah, everyone who is somebody goes there at some point.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like and magically each time apparently like the big bad guy doesn't know it exists. Even though they probably could go through the holotape scrapbook and find out they went on holiday as a kid there with the mum and dad.
It's always the remote desert planets for some reason.
Definitely. Yeah. It's where you find your hermit Jedis and prophesized chosen ones.
Yeah.
It's a hell of a thing. But so yeah, there's 2 more episodes to go for Kenobi. They are claiming these are supposed to be the big wow episodes which are gonna redeem the series, and I'm not gonna immediately jump on the bandwagon of, oh my god, this is true. I'm just gonna remain cautious about it until I see it.
Cautiously optimistic.
Yeah. Unless this 5th episode out of 6 is really, really terrible, then I'll be pessimistic all the way through.
Oh, they're only doing 6?
Yeah, and apparently Kathleen Kennedy runs Lucasfilm, basically said that if they could warrant another story set between this and what would be A New Hope, involving Obi-Wan Kenobi, they would look at developing it. But this is designed entirely to be contained just as a one-off deal. But
fair enough.
We'll see how it goes. But yeah, that's Kenobi so far.
Fair enough. Final of it then. The new upcoming games and all that stuff. Movies and TV shows.
With
Ms. Marvel, June 8th on Disney Plus.
Today. Well, it'll be in the past.
Of the podcast recording.
Yeah.
So, yeah. What are our thoughts on that?
I kind of have no interest in Miss Marvel, personally. Her powers are interesting, I guess, but her as a character has never really spoken to me. I haven't even seen the trailer, in fact, thinking about it.
I haven't even watched the episode.
Yeah, I know a lot of people were excited. A lot of the people I talked to are huge Marvel fans. They were all really excited. Oh my god, it's going to be so great. So, yeah, good luck for them. I barely watch Marvel stuff. Not that I don't like Marvel. I really like Marvel stuff. It's just there's so much stuff coming out of time. I don't have time. I think it'd be cool. I think they might do it really well. I hope they would do it really well for this, just because of the character and what everyone was talking about that she represents.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, for more inclusivity and more representation, I was talking about, so they have that going for them for people to watch.
Mm.
So hopefully they at least do it right. Because like I don't know much about Miss Marvel as well, except for like the Marvel Avengers game.
Mm.
Because she plays, as her. Then at the beginning, she's like, oh, she's a huge superhero fan. So they can really like push it that way and create the series more about that as well. And her coming to her into understanding her own powers and on all that jazz. So yeah, it'd be cool. It'd be cool to see. Hopefully, it's good. I'm sure at least at some point I will get told if it's good or not. I can let you all know then.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
definitely see how it goes.
Right, and that is a podcast.
Not yet.
So
Not yet.
No, we have
Player's choice.
we have the roll of the dice. See, it just to explain to people, obviously, we are going to be doing the still player's choice. We're still going to be doing World of Warcraft as well, and this will be thrown into the mix though as well. And we'll update more when we've done the dungeon and things,
Yes.
depending on how it takes. We're still going to do this. Right, who's rolling this? Is winner rolls dice, isn't it? So
It
Nick,
is.
you have to roll a dice.
Should I?
Roll.
Where do we even roll them? We don't have a rolling channel. Unbelievable. Are you ready, fellas?
I'm ready
I can't wait for Martin to not win.
to not win again.
Oh, God.
It's like that. I didn't win again.
It's you again, Nick.
It is I, again. Well, you know what? We talked about it earlier. I did have something else in mind, but I want you guys to play Vampire Survivors.
Oh, the
£2
game.
game.
Yeah.
Hell yes.
Nice. Okay.
Nice and cheap. And if you can't afford it, I'll buy it for you.
Play it for me.
Immediately.
Vampire Survivors.
I will definitely get onto that.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I played like a bullet hell that was any good.
Oh yeah.
So
It's less bullet hell than enemy hell.
that's fine. That still counts.
Yeah, I don't really have a goal for you for this. I guess just play as much as you want to play before next week.
There's a certain wave though, maybe.
It's all
Like, it's time, isn't it? Yeah.
And something happens at 30 minutes that'll basically pretty much stop a run. But I've got a friend who's played like fucking 30 hours. He still hasn't made it to 30 minutes. So I'm not going to say get there.
Get 30 minutes, yeah. We'll see how that goes then. I'll have to definitely try.
Yeah. Okay, now that's a podcast.
That is a
That's
podcast.
a podcast, yeah.
So yeah, thanks. Thank you, everyone, for coming in, listening. Hope you have a great weekend, or whenever you listen to this. Hope you have a great time. And now it's time for me to get a drink. Is there something I'm missing?
Sorry, I know you just did your whole outro, but
What?
I'm kind of curious
Oh.
what you guys think, and I'd like to hear from the audience. I've been thinking about covering rumors as well, like rumors of games that are coming out or whatnot. So I kind of want to gauge your your reaction and the audience reaction to that. Would you be interested in covering rumors, or is that a bit too much?
Well, a little bird tells me that I'm cool with it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm cool to talk about rumors and stuff. I guess because really the audience needs to know as well, like the running time will also be increased if we're talking about rumors.
Yeah.
Depending on how many rumors there are at that time. So it's whether or not they're all happy with that.
I'm sure a lot of them will just be quick fire, like the news thing that we've started doing. Oh yeah, if nobody's noticed, we've started doing like quick fire news stories. If we don't have much to talk about, we'll just like fucking list them off essentially.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the rumors might be that stuff.
Yeah. It's fair enough. But yeah, no, sounds good.
Alright, that sounds fine. And yeah, now
I think it's time to get a drink.
Now I'm off to go get a drink. Barkeep!
A barkeep.